Hey, everybody. Zeke Matevosian here. This feels really, really good. Being able to tell everybody what's going on. It is the most healing thing. I remember years and years ago. This is how it started. I had that therapist that I was having really, really strong emotions for, and and I couldn't wait to tell her Friday night at 6 what the stuff I needed to speak. I needed to speak, tell her what it is. So out of desperation, I started recording myself, what I needed to tell her, and that's how this one of the ways how this started. The YouTube channel is my recordings to her that I would collect and have her watch Friday at 6 on my therapy session. And I think that's fundamental. That therapist, there's so much to that. And then now what I'm doing is making that video of myself talking the things I need to say, except I'm not saving it for her to watch Friday at 6. I'm broadcasting it live. Just think about that, how good it feels for me to unburden myself of all my pain. This is how I deal with my pain. I articulate it for the purpose of understanding it in order to heal it. I'm the voice of the soul. I speak the truth as I see it, the truth that needs to be spoken. And I'm learning to speak it in a way that doesn't get me kicked out, because it has had that effect before. That I have a video on my timeline on Facebook of this incredible lady who's on the spectrum, and she's a speech pathologist. And her courage in speaking publicly, and to her obvious effort to represent herself with credibility, so that people won't people would listen to her. You see, because people with conditions, a lot of them aren't taken seriously. They're not listened to because of the stigma and the falsehoods associated with the term mental illness, the concept of mental illness. It's not illness. They're not sick. A lot of them are geniuses. And the insights that would save this world are spoken by them. If only we learn to understand their unique and precious language, and that's what I'm learning to do. We just want to sit at the table. We just want to be included in society. We don't want to be kicked out of college classrooms and other prayer groups, which is what happened to me, okay? That's what the scammer is doing. That's what her pain is. All of us. And it doesn't only apply to people with mental conditions. The people who are not included in society, the people, not only the ones in, psych wards, the ones in prisons, in jail. Criminals, a criminal act is not necessarily uh, caused by mental illness. So that I've heard that debate. Just because you're criminal doesn't mean you have a mental disorder. You know that movie, Jack Nicholson, One Flew Over the Cuckoo's Nest? He's trying to pretend like he has mental disorder, so they won't put him in jail. They'll put him in a psych ward, which is what someone would do with the mental disorder, like that Jack Nicholson character in there. Dude, you don't have to fool him. You're crazy, right? That is a crazy thing to do, to pretend like you have mental disorder. You don't have to try. You have mental disorder, right? Right? And he finds out they're not going to let him out of there. They're going to keep him there because he really is crazy. And I don't know. I mean, other than he thinking that he would get out of there, was he thinking it's better in the mental hospital than the prison? It's debatable. He would want to be there, I would think, because he would relate to the people in there better than he would the people in prison, maybe. So the point was, criminals who don't fit diagnosis, because a criminal act by itself, an act of violence or breaking the law by itself, is not indication of mental disorder. There's 5 criteria. That's one of the criteria. The fact that you would do atrociously harmful act. If you're violent. Another one is if you're always distressed. That's another one. If you're always the fact that you can't function in society, you don't have a job, you don't have a relationship, you can't maintain a relationship, you're always distressed, you're breaking laws, you're breaking social norms, you're not able to function within the confines of socially acceptable behavior. And then the inappropriate, if your behavior is opposite of what the context of what you're supposed to do. Like my dad's funeral, I cracked, I laughed, loud. I couldn't, maybe that's how I was dealing with the pain. Crying, laughing when you're supposed to be crying, or crying when I guess crying at a wedding is normal, right? That's the normal thing to do, is to cry at a wedding. Because you don't want to see, like the mom or the dad don't want to see their daughter. They're losing their daughter to some jerk they feel. That's what they're crying. That's my daughter, that you jerk, you're taking my daughter away from me. Parents, stream of consciousness, parents don't want to lose their kids to somebody else. They want them for themselves, some more than others. Tell me about it. So I got a little digression there going on, or I was getting straight to the point. You can see it that way. Stream of consciousness here, and I appreciate you allowing me to do that and not to judge me about it. I mean, it's a good thing. I feel what I'm doing here is unburdening myself of all the stuff that's inside of me. I feel people need to do that. You need to have somebody that you can speak the stuff you need to, and I have found that somebody. It's me. It's the me that's watching me. And then there's something about that I've been wanting to say so much. But I've been ashamed to all these years, and I won't be anymore. In Germany, to this day, there's people that will say, we're not Jewish, because they're ashamed. Do you understand that? They're ashamed to this day. They feel guilty. There's people that feel guilty for something they shouldn't feel guilty about. And there's something I feel guilty about. I'm gonna tell you what it is. It's not a wrong thing. It's made out to be a wrong thing by society, because society wants to oppress people using this, by making this a taboo. You know what's the biggest taboo in the world? I'm gonna speak 3 words in a sentence, and I want you to think them, listen to them. I want you to watch your reaction to me saying it. I'm scared of saying it. I'm ashamed of saying it. I'm afraid of your reaction. Just 3 words. What could it be? And why? I feel the reason these 3 words spoken in conjunction in a sentence are the most horrible to be spoken is because they are the words that would set us free. And so me speaking them and making it normal to have those spoken and for you to hear them, I think that's the key to the liberation of humanity. I've always wanted to speak them, always. I am God. What was your reaction just now? The first thing you thought, he must be crazy, right? That's what the therapist told me is, don't you know the difference between a belief and a delusion? A delusion is a belief that simply isn't true. Such a horrible taboo that it's recognized as a symptom of certain mental disorders. And it could be if they're felt in a certain way. The therapist herself told me, Zeke, I thought you meant you are the God. I thought you meant the God. That is what I meant. That is what I believe. We all are the God. Each and every one of us is the God. That is the truth that will set you free. The universe wouldn't be what it is without you being who you are. If you understood and accepted that, if everybody did, the world would be a much nicer place. And that is my mission. This is the truth I need you to hear. And you've heard it. Once you've heard it, you can't unhear it. You are God. Maybe that's more palatable. Because saying I am God has arrogance about it. It could be taken that way. Now, what it is about arrogance is, the term shrink refers to shrinking the ego. And it refers to a therapist. That's what the therapist doesn't shrink your ego. The reason your ego would be large, massive, is because as a kid you were bullied perhaps, or abused, or traumatized, and then in order to compensate for that atrocity, you created an idealized self-concept like being God, to ease the pain of being told you're a piece of crap, or you're zero, or you're nothing, being bullied, called names, being humiliated, being sexually abused by your own parent. So that arrogance. So the thing is, it could be said in a way that it's not the ego that's the God. You understand? You could be saying it in a way that it's not the ego. The ego saying, I'm a God, like I'm God and everybody else is not God. That could be, that's more likely a mental disorder. But this could be understood in a way that's not mental disorder, but it's wisdom. And that is that we truly are, all of us, the divine in human form. And each one of us is a unique representation of the divine in human form, without whom the universe wouldn't be what it is. I am God. Say it. I want everybody say that, and not feel ashamed, not feel like they're violating some sacred law. That law is sacred. I am that I am. Say it. I am that I am. I am all that is, that ever was, that ever will be. I am. I am. What I am is what I am. I am. It's so refreshing to me. It feels so good that I'm allowed to say it, that I give myself permission to say it. And if you're not getting it right now, you will. Everybody will. We all know what it is deep down, even though consciously some of us protest that it's so sacrilegious to say that. The religious, the Christians, the fundamentalist believers are the ones I've heard most upset by this, offended, because those are the ones who are lied to the most. That lie was put in the Bible, not spoken by Jesus, but by those who wrote the Bible, who edited it. The Council of Nicaea, Emperor Constantine, they put in this stuff to make you feel ashamed of who you are, make you feel ashamed of your sexuality, make you scared of death, and use this fear of hell to scare you. Use the lie that sexuality is sin to make you feel ashamed, make you feel guilty and undeserving, make you feel like a sinner, and then to offer you a solution, Jesus, in a way that would benefit them. So you go to Jesus, you got to read the Bible, follow the instructions. That's what the church over there is. You want to go to heaven, details aside. Follow the instructions to go to heaven. Yeah, when? After you die, or after the world ends. Heaven is here for the taking. You don't have to go to somebody else to get the instructions. You don't have to read the Bible to go to heaven. You got to remember who you are. Let go of your pain. You know who you are. The caterpillar in Alice in Wonderland smoking the hookah, sitting on top of that mushroom, says, "Who are you?" to Alice. And she goes, "I'm not sure. I've changed so much since this morning. I forgot who I am." We all forgot who we are. We all forgot. Remember, do you not remember who you are? Remember who you are. Don't think back. Think now. It's here, now who you are. It's in the present moment. It's the answer to all your questions, all your prayers, the fulfillment of all your wishes. You are all the things you're looking for. It's you. I am that I am. Self-realization. Realize who you are. Anarchy isn't everybody in the streets rioting. It's a misconception. True anarchy is you, your own king, because you know who you are. And who you are is the source of the highest wisdom. It's who you are. So you know the right thing to do, and you do it. I am that I am. I am God.